How to activate the field of stillness before movement. A sacred transmission for those who want to move from silence, not struggle. Opening transmission. Before any action, there is a pause. Before every step, there is weightlessness. And before the body moves, the soul listens for something deeper. To move with grace, whether in life, in speech, or in gesture, we must first learn to enter the field of stillness before movement. This stillness is not absence. It is presence before doing. It is the quiet hum that lives underneath every thought, every breath, every heartbeat. In ordinary life, we are trained to move first and think later, to act before sensing, to chase instead of listen. But the awakened path reverses this completely. The still ones move with power because they move from that which is beyond motion. They speak with clarity because they speak from silence. They create with beauty because they are first absorbed in the uncreated. Let us now explore in fullness and precision how to awaken this field of stillness before movement and how to live from it in every motion that follows. 1. The space before action is not empty. It is alive. To the untrained mind, stillness seems like nothing, a void, a pause of no consequence. But the truth is that space before you act is the most potent part of the act itself. It is where alignment is found, where intention is purified, where the inner and outer worlds begin to harmonize. Every masterful archer pauses before the release. Every deep artist listens before they paint. Every realized being enters stillness before they move, not as hesitation, but as attunement. This stillness is not the absence of thought. It is the awareness beneath thought. It is where you wait, not in fear, but in readiness. When you learn to sit in this charged stillness, movement arises from truth, not from habit or reaction. 2. Movement without stillness is just repetition. Most people don't move. They repeat. They repeat yesterday's reactions, last week's fears, last year's conditioning. Because they never pause long enough to see what's true now, stillness interrupts the loop. It introduces presence where there was pattern. Stillness is the flame that burns the reflex before it becomes motion. Without stillness, you are a machine. With stillness, you become a tuning fork for consciousness. You listen first, you attune, and then, only then, do you move. This is the art of sacred action. 3. How to enter the field of stillness. You don't enter stillness by force. You relax into it. You melt into it. Here's a simple practice. You can do this right now, even as you listen. 1. Stop moving. 2. Let your breath slow. 3. Notice the space between thoughts. 4. And now, instead of filling that space, just feel it. 5. Sense the presence inside that pause. You are now in the field. It has no edges, no form, no sound, but it is more real than the mind. This is not a waiting room for something better. It is the source field of all that comes next. Stay here even for a few seconds, and you will notice movement, when it comes, feels inevitable, not forced. It flows from the root of being, not the surface of mind. The nervous system must feel safe to rest in stillness. Here's a subtle truth. You cannot enter stillness fully if your body believes it is unsafe. Many seekers struggle because they try to force inner silence while their nervous system is still bracing. Stillness cannot be pushed into a tense body. It must be invited into a relaxed one. So first, let the body know it is safe. Let the breath lengthen. Let the shoulders fall. Let the face soften. Only then will the doorway to stillness reveal itself. This is not a metaphor. It is biological, energetic, and deeply sacred. When you feel deeply safe, the spine doesn't need to hold you. The breath doesn't need to be controlled. And stillness simply descends. It covers you like a soft fog of presence, and from that, movement will feel like the world exhaling through you. 5. The moment of inward leaning. There is a moment, just before any movement, where your awareness leans forward. It is subtle, almost invisible, but if you catch it, if you pause right there, you'll feel an entire universe suspended in that instant. That's the field we're speaking of. It is the edge of time, the line where being becomes becoming, where awareness prepares to step into form. If you train yourself to remain here for even one breath longer than usual, you begin to change your entire orientation. You no longer live as a reactive being. You live as a conductor of stillness, and every step you take from that field becomes a sacred expression of silence itself. 6. The body can be taught to pause before it acts. This practice is not only for meditation, it is for life. Before you speak, pause. Before you open the door, pause. Before you reply to a message, a judgment, or a question, pause. Let your body learn the rhythm of stillness. Teach your hands not to reach until the breath has settled. Train your eyes to rest in openness before they scan the room. Let your spine feel the weightlessness before will. This is how presence becomes embodied, not just during silence, but inside the motion of the day. 7. Stillness before movement is the origin of wisdom. Wisdom does not come from more information. It comes from deepened attention. And attention only deepens when you learn to wait in stillness before you speak or act. In that stillness, you hear what the mind cannot. You sense what the situation is actually asking for. You stop projecting and start perceiving. What arises then is not your will, but wisdom, the voice of something deeper than habit. This is how sages move, not from fear, not from ambition, but from alignment. And alignment can only be found in the pause before you move. 8. The field is always there. You've just been stepping over it. You don't need to create this stillness. It's already here. It's what you've been stepping over every time you rush to act. It's not hidden. You've just been trained to ignore it, to value speed over presence, to favor answers over silence, to prize momentum over clarity. But if you reverse that, if you begin to let the pause matter more than the push, you'll find something ancient waiting there, a current, a guidance, a pulse of stillness that knows where to go before the mind does. That is the field, and it is always here. Mystical reflection. The greatest movements begin in stillness, not just of body, but of being. To move from this field is to let consciousness move through you, not because you decided, but because it is time. Stillness is the place where you dissolve and only listening remains. And from that listening, the world becomes music again. All grace begins here, in the quiet, before the first note. If this sacred transmission has stirred something in you, a hunger for more than reaction, more than momentum, I invite you to stay connected. Subscribe, become a member, and join this living journey into presence. Let each video be a pause, a reminder, a return to the stillness beneath your breath. Let us learn together how to move, only when the silence speaks. Next episode preview. In the next sacred transmission, we will explore when the body disappears in meditation, beyond the spine, beyond the self. A deep immersion into the mystery of formless presence.